Grand Admiral Thrawn will make his return to animation in this final season of The Bad Batch, and this will lead to Mount Tantiss being revealed to be the key to everything, and even start a chain reaction that will end with Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi actually making sense? Hang on. Hear me out. I know, an appearance of Thrawn in The Bad Batch might sound like not that big a deal, but it might just be the reason why the entire show called The Bad Batch was created in the first place. To set up Mount Tantiss and for the future, as Thrawn will be the heir to the Empire and the new main villain for our heroes over the next 10 years. But why is this appearance from the Big Blue Meanie so important? How does it affect anything that's going on in the sequel trilogy? And why do I think Mount Tantiss is the key to all of this? In this video, we will talk about all of this, but let's start with why Thrawn appearing in this final season of The Bad Batch is so important. First, you gotta know Thrawn's canon story so far. The Bad Batch takes place in 18 BBY, about 1 year after Revenge of the Sith and about 18 years before A New Hope. However, Grand Admiral Thrawn joins the Empire in 19 BBY, 1 year before The Bad Batch Season 3. He quickly rose through the ranks in the Empire as one of the smartest beings in the galaxy, and by the time of Star Wars Rebels, he's ranked Grand Admiral and is one of the highest ranking members of the entire Galactic Empire. But what's more important than all of that is if Thrawn makes an appearance in this Bad Batch Season 3 and arrives on Mount Tantiss, that will confirm that Thrawn does know where Palpatine's hidden cloning facility was, meaning by the time he shows up in live action, 30 some odd years later in the Mandoverse, he will still know where Mount Tantiss is located. And because of his appearance in the final season of The Bad Batch, he will know exactly what Palpatine was up to on this base. Now, as for why Mount Tantiss is the key to all of this, we have to talk about a Legends trilogy titled Heir to the Empire. In these Legend novels, Thrawn goes to Mount Tantiss after Palpatine has died, very similar to what's going on right now, and uses the cloning facility to create a cloned version of Luke Skywalker. He also goes there and finds a cloned version of a Jedi named Jorah Sabaoth. And now that Legends are being integrated into canon thanks to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, I think the entire reason for the creation of this Bad Batch show is to introduce Mount Tantiss years before the Mandoverse, years before Thrawn becomes the heir to the Empire, to establish that this was Palpatine's first cloning facility, before he moves to Exegol and before Snoke is even created. Because although we've fallen in love with these characters of Hunter, Wrecker, Echo, Tech, Crosshair, and Omega, they're most likely all going to die by the end of this third season, making all 3 seasons of this show pretty much useless except for the fact that it established Palpatine's cloning facility on Mount Tantiss. And the only thing they have left to establish in this third season is the fact that Thrawn knows the location of this base. So that years and years later in the Mandoverse, when the Big Blue Meanie comes back to the galaxy as the heir to the Empire, he will know exactly where to go to find Palpatine's old cloning facility. Now, although that sounds really cool with Mount Tantiss being the key to everything, Thrawn possibly making a very short cameo appearance in The Bad Batch Season 3, it doesn't explain what I said at the top of the video. How all of this will start a chain reaction as to explaining why Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi is the way that he is. And it could also lead to this version of Luke Skywalker being fixed for some fans. And the way this works is with Mount Tantiss being revealed in The Bad Batch, Thrawn knowing where Mount Tantiss is in The Bad Batch, years later in the Mandoverse going to Mount Tantiss and creating a Force-sensitive clone named Luke Skywalker. As we can see, they're trying to take Omega's blood in The Bad Batch to create a Force-sensitive because of Omega's high M count. In The Mandalorian, we see the remnant of the Empire trying to take Grogu's blood because of his high M count, but Luke Skywalker is the son of the Chosen One. Anakin Skywalker had the highest M count in the galaxy. And it's very likely, although we never actually get it confirmed in canon, that Luke Skywalker's M count is at least as high as Anakin's, if not even higher, making his blood the most important blood in the galaxy for creating a Force-sensitive clone. And after having to fight himself in clone form and finding out that his blood was used to create the leader of the whole First Order, Supreme Leader Snoke, that would add a whole lot of story to the reason as to why Luke Skywalker ends up the way that he is on Ahch-To in The Last Jedi. It's not just because he had one bad dream. It's because if he didn't go into hiding, then his blood would be used to create an entire army of Force-sensitive clones that would take over the entire galaxy and probably kill countless innocent lives, leading some fans, myself included, to appreciate the character of Luke Skywalker more in the reason that he actually ended up the way that he did. So no, I'm not just talking about a very small cameo of Grand Admiral Thrawn in The Bad Batch Season 3. I'm talking about this final season of The Bad Batch yet again, connecting the entire Skywalker saga together, from the prequel trilogy to the sequel trilogy, and everything in between. So with all that being said, do you think Grand Admiral Thrawn will be in The Bad Batch Season 3? But if you want the possible answer to the biggest mystery of The Bad Batch Season 3 thus far, of who the hell is under that mask, go watch this video I just did, because I think it's Commander Cody, and I'm about 100% sure at this point.